Hello and welcome to the I lost track last video of the fourth playlist. My name is Anton and Raj say hi.
Hello.
Yep, he's always there and he will always be
I'm
saying hello. So today's
yes.
video we will be going over layout sketching the field, so all the field elements and stuff like that. And we will actually be going off of last year's game, so the game that Raj played. So yeah, hopefully he can actually even provide some insight on how all those field elements maybe even were during the games, maybe how the robots interact with them, that type of stuff.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Arena, field. That's okay. All right, cool. And we're back. We're absolutely balling now. Um, okay. So I am
Mm-hmm.
going to split screen once again, and we're just gonna get straight into it. So, first things first. The main things that I am thinking of layout sketching right now are the I have no clue what they're called. Um, so of course I need to CAD these submersibles, right? Both of the sides, because they are different. These the rungs over here. These are the climbing rungs, I believe, and this is kind of just like a little, I don't know, structure thing over here. So I will have to capture both sides. Um, and then let's see, what else will I have to do? And I will of course have to capture the baskets. I think that's basically it. Okay, so I'm gonna make my field a lot longer, so 100 inches. And I'll just start catting. So since we're in the right view, well, actually here, this is what I'll do. I will create a separate folder for field elements, and okay, cool. And I will actually drag my rollback bar into this folder. So if you guys didn't know, the rollback bar is kind of where you create your features. So right now, so every single feature you create is created behind the rollback bar. So if I create a sketch, you see that it is created behind the rollback bar. You can definitely use this to your advantage. So like for example, if you've made a folder over here, right? If I make a sketch right now and I want it to be inside of that folder, I will have to make it, checkmark it, and drag it into the folder, which is kind of a pain, right? So what you could do instead is you can instead drag the rollback bar into this folder, and now if you start creating sketches, you should see that they appear in the folders instead of all the way at the bottom. So definitely do try to use that to your advantage. It will help you guys out a lot. Okay, all right. Now that we're in the ground and field elements sketch, what I'll do is I'll just start catting the submersible from the side. So it's as if I'm staring at it from this way. So these two structure beams over here are on the side and I'm facing them. So I first have to find the dimensions, right? So this is the side view. And what I'll do is I'll first just sketch out uh, I'll honestly just do like a half of it because I can easily mirror it over, right? So, very basic sketches for the right half of the submersible. And honestly, the right half is all I need, right? The right half is basically the same as left half, so all I need is the right half. So what I'll do is, first off, the first thing that touches the ground is this little beam over here. So I will make a corner rectangle going up kind of like that. And now there's this rung at the top that goes out like this, a rung somewhere over here, and I will actually make it vertical with this point over here that goes out like that, and a barrier at the bottom that I will also make vertical, just like that. Okay, now I can just kind of go crazy using these dimensions, right? So we know that the height of this submersible is 36 inches, so I will dimension my height to 36 inches, and now it's phasing into the ground. Very cool. We do not want our submersible to be phasing into the ground because then physics will get really, really mad at us. Okay, now the rungs each are 1 inch diameter. So these two beams over here, or rods, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm gonna make the width 1 inch because diameter is technically the width from the right view, because of geometry. And instead of making another 1 inch dimension here, I'm just gonna use the equal equal constraint, right? Very, very simple, very, very easy. Now, looking at this dimension over here, it's saying that the top of this rung to the ground is 20 inches. So I will dimension that as 20. And now I actually have to make the barrier. So the barrier is actually also 1 inch in I guess width or height you can call it, because you see these two dimensions, right? From the ground to the top of the barrier is 2 inches. From the ground to the bottom of the barrier is 1 inch. So 2 - 1 is 1. Hopefully you can do your math. If not, I also can't. So it's all chill. So I'm gonna make this. Oh, see what I did there? I just jinxed myself. I will instead use the equal constraint to just make it equal height as the beams over here. Now it is slightly off the ground, so I'm just gonna dimension the bottom of the barrier to the ground as 1 inch. Cool. Now see how I still have blue stuff. Let's see what's missing. Just the width of this thing, which is, it does not show me in this. All right. So when you can't find a dimension, what you can typically do is um, go into public documents, and I'm sure that there already is a CAD from Into the Deep of just the field. So if you search up Into the Deep, you should see, for example, this one right here. It's the CAD of the field, right? So you can use this for any dimensions that you don't have. Um, it's a very common occurrence in FRC for some dimensions to not be present in the game manual. Apparently, it also is a very common occurrence in FTC. So now, if we look at, oh, these are really weird bars. If we look at from the side how we're CADing it, we're gonna do this and this. So I'm currently in millimeters. I'm gonna change this to inches. So it is 1.5 inches wide. That'd be pretty cool if they, included it in the manual, but apparently they decided that we do not need that. Okay, and now I'm gonna keep on dimensioning everything. So this is gonna be 1.5 inches. Something else is still able to move. I'm not sure what. Oh, I can just move it left to right. Um, which is honestly fine. What you could do is you can dimension this to maybe, I don't know, 44.5 divided by 2. And the reason why I'm not making the whole, kind of, the whole sketch, right, the whole thing across, so 44.5 inches across, is because I don't need it, right? It's basically the exact same thing on either side. So all I really need is just one side, and then I'll just need to call it a day. When you're layout sketching field elements, you want to make sure that you're only capturing the parts that the robot can contact or that are obstructing the robot, right? So these beams over here, they're definitely obstructing the robots, correct? Um, Now there's also a beam going outwards over here, but I think that's in line with this beam over there. So yeah, just anything that is obstructing the robot. Cool. What you could do is, if it is annoying you that it's kind of you know, it's you can move left to right. You can just make this point vertical with the ground over here, which is great. Like that's totally fine. Okay. And now what you can do
I
is,
had a question.
oh yeah,
In the current view that you're working on, layout sketching, are
yep.
you planning on adding the supports for the submersible in that view, or
Well,
are you gonna
this
wait
so
till
in
you?
this view, the supports are in line. So I actually was
Mhm.
getting to that, in like right now. So yes, I was planning to add it.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay.
Okay. Now, since your robot will be in the side view, what you're gonna have to do is you will also have to CAD these bars over here from the side as well, right? As well as this barrier over here. So it will get a bit funky. had a little conversation with Raj about how to do this correctly. I was thinking of making it in multiple folders, but since you can intake on all four sides of the submersible and you can only score on two sides, this should be fine. So now what we have to do is, well, if you look at the front view of the submersible, you'll see that there is a barrier here, but it is still 2 inches tall. So you can easily just treat it like this barrier, which is also 2 inches tall, right? So all you could do in your sketch is basically make a line, go across from this point all the way over here, um, and that's basically it, right? Now we have to sketch these two rungs over here, right? So from the side, they will of course be circles. So I will make, and I'm assuming they are centered on this rectangle. Um, I think they are centered. Hopefully they are centered. And they are
Yeah.
1.05. What? What, Raj?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Um, and they are 1.5, 1.05, sorry. Oh my god, dude. It's a great day for me right now. Holy. 1.05 inches in diameter. Holy, that is small. And I will make the second circle. Um, Jesus Christ. Everything is going great for me right now, guys. This is so good. Another circle over here, right? And I'll just make its origin vertical with this circle right here, since this is already vertical on the midpoint of this rectangle, so just to save me some time. And now I'm just gonna make these two circles equal, E. Um, please learn your shortcuts. Okay, so the top of the upper submersible is 26 inches from the ground, so 26. And the top of the lower, sorry, not submersible, rung. Top of the lower rung is 13 inches from the ground. Okay, cool. Now you have your rungs. Um, Now the thing is that you don't really need to make a side view in this kind of, what's it called, in this view right here, because yes, Raj is correct in saying that these kind of these little angled like bars over here that help it stand up, they will get they will interfere with your robot, but they shouldn't really interfere with your intaking, right? Raj, correct me if I'm wrong, but because you're mostly intaking from this area over here and you're just extending into the submersible, and same on the other side as well, where you're
It
extending into the
sorry.
submersible.
It actually can interfere with it. At least. Yeah, but like you gotta like drive around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's just the drive base, man. Like,
Sure.
you're not gonna model your auton in Onshape. Right? Okay, yes. So as I was saying, you're hopefully gonna be intaking inside of this, like in between the two bars over here, or in this area right here. If you're intaking with this bar in front of your robot, then you should probably get your driver checked out. So from the side view, I would say that's honestly basically it for the, well, almost Raj question. See this little bar over here? Would this interfere with the robot somehow, or is it not too critical for the game?
No,
Okay,
it's not critical.
so we don't even need to CAD that bar, so we're honestly good to go, right? Like, cool. This is basically the side view of your submersible. This is, you can also once you start layout sketching the front of your robot, you could also make the front view of the submersible. So make a plane that's 90 degrees over here on this line, and then a plane that is parallel to the front view on that line. But honestly, if you have your side layout sketches all like kind of tweaked out, then you should be fine without a front layout or a front layout sketch of the submersible. Now we can start focusing on the what is this called? Baskets. Yeah. Okay, that's a great name. I love that a lot more than the submersible. So baskets, we will still focus on the side view, and yes, they are angled on the field, right? But that does not mean that we need to create another angled plane, because when you're scoring into the baskets, you're probably going to be somewhat kind of maybe like adjacent to them, parallel to them. Yes, you will be able to like you could also be angled to the basket. But point is that you can still make it on the same plane as the submersible, right? You don't have to make another plane for the baskets. That's just gonna be painful. So from the side view, I see that the basket is. So this one is a bit interesting because as you see, they actually don't provide us with the measurement of this rod or like the width of this rod over here that holds the basket up, which we actually kind of don't really need. We just honestly need the basket. So what you could do is you can just model, if you see where my mouse is tracing, see this front line, this very left line of that bar over here. You can just make, represent that line with just, the line feature in Onshape. And then you can actually just start making the basket. So let's see, the basket from the side view looks like, Raj, it looks like it's touching that bar, right? That looks close enough.
Yeah, it doesn't touch it,
It doesn't. Well, how
but
big?
like it's basically like
So basically touching.
for all purposes, it's fine.
Okay.
It's close.
Is it
Yeah,
how close?
there's like zip ties like at the end.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Man, that's basically touching. But man, what are you talking about? It's not touching. Look at that. All right. Okay.
Okay, never mind
Okay,
then.
Mr. FTC lead. All
I
right.
may have forgotten.
All right. The baskets, I will just very roughly sketch them out. So it looks something like this. You go up here. Uh, you kind of like that, and then you go up here. Okay. So it's saying that the inside of the basket. Okay, so that's interesting. There is an inside and an outside of the basket. So we can model that using just the offset feature that I showed you guys a little while ago. So um, let's see from the side view. So outside is 5.77. Yeah. That I think it's just the same throughout the whole basket. Um, so let's where's my offset? Where is my offset tool? Offset. Okay. And I'm just gonna click on this whole basket right here, and then do some math, aka ask my calculator what 5.77 minus 5.5 is, so 0.27. So I will just offset my lines by 0.27 inches and press check mark. And there you go. Now I have myself a nice little wall for the basket. You can also just delete, honestly, these two. You don't really need those. Okay. And then I'm just gonna create a little perpendicular line over here to connect these two together like that, and same over here. So perpendicular line, coincident these 2 points, and call it a day. So there is my really nice basket. So from a side view, it's saying that the inside between these 2 points of my basket is 5.5 inches. Now, a thing that I haven't shown you guys is you can actually change how you dimension 2 points with the movement of your mouse. So currently notice how my dimension line, so the arrow is perfectly horizontal, right? But if I move it out to the left of see like that little left vertical line over here that forms. If I move my mouse out to the left of it, see how my kind of arrowed line becomes angled, right? Then if I go even more, if I go over here, see how now it's doing the vertical dimension. And then I can go over here, I can go over there, I can do a lot of stuff with it. So just something to play around with. And also really make sure that you're doing the correct dimension. So for the basket, don't do this, right? Because that is the wrong dimension. In the photo, you see that it's angled arrow. So you want to have an angled arrow in your sketch. So I will click dimension between these 2 points over here, and I will make them 5.5 inches. That does not look like a basket at all, but we're gonna fix that. Okay. Now to this point, it is saying that that point is about 25.75 inches off the ground. And then the basket is 6 inches in at whatever that dimension is. I don't know what the proper dimension is. So okay, and now does it tell me the dimension of the bottom? It'd be really funny if it doesn't. Oh, I think it's already. The back is perfectly vertical, huh? There you go. That looks like a basket. Something like that. Does it tell me the dimension? Oh yeah, it does. It says 3.5 inches on the very bottom. So 3.5. Okay. And now I got myself a nice little basket. The only problem is that now this backside over here is not dimensioned properly. It'd be really funny if they do not tell me that dimension. All right, we're back. I had to ask Raj a couple questions. So what we ended up doing is making this side equal with this side. So 6 inches and 6 inches here. If you try to use the equal constraint, you'll get into a problem where if you try to hover over the line, it'll show you like this big line that we use for the bar. So to select the other smaller line, kind of mix in between with this big line, you have to right click on this line, press select other, and then if you hover over the different selections, you can actually see what it will select, right? So edge of the ground, face of the ground, edge of the ground. That's exactly what I want. So you press on it, and then you press on this line, and then you press equal, and then color day. Okay, phew, that's the first basket. So yeah, first doesn't really, give us a lot of dimensions to work with. Um, but yeah, it happens. So you're just gonna have to figure it out with the cat as well. Okay, and now we just have to make the other basket, which is literally the same thing as this one. So what I think what I'll actually do is I'll select from right to left this whole sketch over here, Command C, Command V, and I will just kind of move it something like that, check mark. And now if I make you coincident like that, so see how I just it basically copied everything over with the dimensions and with the constraints, which is very, very useful because I honestly do not want to remake this thing. This thing was an absolute pain to make. And now all I'm missing is the 43-inch dimension from this edge to here. So 43 inches. And then what I'll do is I will make the basket over here. Okay, now let's see what is missing. That. There you go. Okay, so cool. That's fully constrained now. If you guys want to see how I found the angle that quickly, I just pressed on this face, pressed on that face, and it just gave me the angle between the two. It automatically assumes because you're pressing like two different faces that are from different angles, so getting the measurement between them wouldn't be really useful. So yeah. Now, if you're wondering how you would use um, both of these kind of field elements for your robot, because one of them is on the left side of the sketch, while one of them is on the right side of the sketch. That is a great question. So if you notice, one of them is for intaking and scoring. One of them is just for scoring. Raj. So you will have to model your intake using the submersible, right? Because that's the only spot where you can intake. And then this is where it gets a bit janky. You will have to model your outtake both on the submersible and both on the baskets. And then if you were wondering on how you would model this, it's literally a brick. Just use a rectangle, please. Don't model all the insides or anything else like that. Just use a rectangle. Um, you
Okay.
could model the insides from the front view, like just make like a little X over here, but rectangles.